Hi everybody, it's Maureen from mycasestudies.blogspot.com. On my last quick tip video, I had an idea about making these templates for layering stamps so that it would be easier for you to place the stamps in exactly the right places to layer them the next time you use them. And I had a question from someone about how to use them if you want the image to be in a different place on your card than the way you positioned it initially on your templates. One of her suggestions was that you could make your templates out of acetate or vellum instead, maybe using StazOn ink so that it would actually dry on those templates. And that's an idea also. I personally don't really like using StazOn. I just personal preference, and I kind of like the weight of the cardstock. If you get a really thin vellum or acetate, it can be a little bit harder to line up. It might go underneath, like if I'm using my creative corner, it might slip underneath my creative corner instead of just staying right in that corner. The other thing is, like I said, I don't really like StazOn, and I stamped this in VersaFine and I let it dry for, over an hour, and it's still smearing. This one has a little less ink on it, but it's still smearing too. So yeah, you would definitely need to use something that's going to be a little more permanent. So I wanted to show you how you can actually make use of these cardstock version of the templates, even if you want the image in a different place on your next card. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the outline template because that is the easiest one to see the entire image. None of the other layers has the entire image on it. So I'm going to take the outline. And you have to remember with these templates, you're always going to want to use them in the same corner that you originally lined them up with. So because I originally did them with the lower left, and that's why I put the names, the template names on the lower left corner to remind myself that's where I have to line it up every time. So my templates are always going to be in the lower left corner, whether it be in the actual Misty corner or in using a creative corner. It's always going to be in the lower left. So that's something to keep in mind. So let's say that this is my card front that I want to stamp on, and I want to actually stamp in a different place than right smack dab in the center. Like maybe I want to make it like a pomander and have it hanging from a string, so I want it a little bit down closer to the bottom. And maybe I even want it a little bit off to the left hand side, let's say. So what I've done is I've already put a couple pieces of purple tape at the top, and those are going to act as a hinge, and I'll show you why. But for lining things up, I'm actually using my centering template that's on the gridded plastic. This was a video a long time ago about making templates for your Misty, for use in your Misty. I have one that's a rule of thirds. This one is the centering. They also have blank sheets in that sheet. It's the quilting templates, quilting sheets, and there's a blank one, so you can use the blank one. But this is nice if you want to use the grid on it to help you line up where you want your card front to go. Excuse me. So like I said, I want to put it, so I want to hold down my, I want to hold down my template because I want it to stay in the exact same place right in that lower corner. And then I'm going to line up my pomander. So maybe I want it a little bit off to the right or the left, and then down near the bottom, but I want to still have a little bit of a margin around the whole thing. So I'm going to do it like that, and now I'm going to get a piece of purple tape and tape that template down. Because what I'm going to do now is I am going to line up this one, my card front, and I can do it on the back or on the front, it doesn't really matter. I'm going to line up my cardstock exactly with that template on all four sides, and when it's lined up I'm going to tape down those two pieces of tape at the top. And like I said, these are going to act as a hinge, so I'm going to move that hinge out of the way, and then I can remove my grid centering template. So now this is in the exact position to stamp the pomander here, and I can show you what you do now is you just flip your piece of cardstock out of the way, and then I'm gonna, let's say I want to do a no line version, so I'm gonna put in my first template, which is my A1, and I'm gonna get my A1 stamp and line that up exactly on my template, and I'm not doing it now, but I'm gonna stick my head right directly over it to make sure that it's completely lined up. Then I'm gonna close my lid and pick that up, and now that is lined up exactly in the right spot to stamp, and you can see it here in the lower left hand corner of my card. And then I'm just going to do that exact same step with my A2 template. I'm going to get my A2 stamp and line that up. Of course, I'm cleaning these off in between and removing them. And then I'm going to go through all my templates, my B1, my B2, my C, my A3, for the no line. And if I want to come back with the outline at the end, I can use my outline version to line up the outline stamp layer. And that's all. And if I need to move my card somewhere else, like let's say I actually wanted it on the lower right hand side, so let me put my outline back in. Let me say I want to make it on the lower right hand side like this instead. You can see that my cardstock's going to actually go off my MISTI. So what I'm going to need to do is bump it over, and that's where I can use my creative corners. I can either use just this, the L-shaped one, because that's going to be enough room, or I can use the magnetized little corner one. Just stick that right in the corner and put my outline there. And then I can put my card to line up here. Let's see if that's straight. And then the same thing goes, I'm going to, actually I can just leave that taped to my cardstock. I'm going to get my cardstock, position it over that grid template. I know I'm using the word template a lot for different things, so I hope you're not getting confused. Sorry about that. I'm not sure what else to call all these things. But there, I got it lined up over the grid. And then I'm just going to hinge it out of the way and take off my grid, and there, now that's perfectly. And of course you can stick your creative corner over the top of that, and you can still stamp in this. I'm going to take that out though, of course, once I have it lined up, and then I'm going to stamp it. So I hope that gives you a better idea of how to actually use the layering templates the next time you go to make a card with them. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below, and I will try to help you as soon as I can. So thanks very much for watching. See you next time.